So I was browsing eBay and I was just looking for an Intel processor, an i7-7700, to put in a low budget gaming build that I'm working on. And I was seeing they're going for about $50 to $70, but then I saw this Seneca video recording appliance that had an i7-7700 in it, up for a buy it now of $99 with $23 shipping. I sent the seller an offer for $85, and sure enough, he accepted it, and this is it. So in this video, we're gonna take this thing apart and see exactly what this video recording appliance is, and see what I got for $104 shipped. So here's a look at the case. Got some scratches on it, not too bad. It's a standard 1-unit rack case. Power button, LED and power status lights. And here's the motherboard I/O in the back. 2 Ethernet ports, 4 USB, 2 display ports, and 2 serial ports, which is not something you see too much anymore. And there's the 2 HDMI ports that are on some kind of card that I'm interested to see what the heck that is. So let's get this thing cracked open and see what's inside. So pretty basic layout. You can see the fans in the front. It's got 3 fans, power supply, ITX motherboard of some sort, and a 1 terabyte spinning disk Seagate drive. It's got this interesting fan splitter card on it for handling those 3 little 40mm fans. So let's see what this card is. That's what I'm really intrigued about with this machine. You can see that there's a bunch of room left over in this case, even if you had a decent size PCIe card there. Yeah, there's some extra room in this case. I don't know, could make like a nice NAS case with you know, a bunch of 2.5-inch SSDs. All right, so here is the card. So interestingly enough, there's not much branding on this card. So I had to do a Google search, and the card comes up as a Magewell brand. And wow, it looks like these cards actually go for $600 new on B&H. That's crazy. But of course on eBay, it looks like they're a lot less expensive. This particular card looks like it'll capture 2 HDMI sources simultaneously, and it's limited to 1080p 60 frames per second, however. But still, that's pretty cool. I could see, you know, using this for like a live podcast or something, being able to potentially record 2 sources at the same time from HDMI cameras. I don't know. Either way, I could sell it on eBay and at least, you know, recoup almost more than half the cost of this machine. Pretty cool. So we still can't see the model number of this motherboard until we get this heatsink out. So let's take a look at the heatsink. It's a Dynatron 1 unit with a blower fan. Looks like it's copper. All right, let's get a look at the RAM modules. These are laptop-sized SODIMMs, which is interesting since, you know, it's not a laptop. We've got Kingston DDR4 running at 2666 megahertz or PC4 2130. So now we can finally get a look at the motherboard model. It's an AsRock IMB-194-D. This is a mini ITX motherboard made for industrial purposes, and it uses the Intel Q170 chipset. So it looks like we've got 4 SATA ports, we've got a mini SATA slot, and we've got a mini PCIe slot on this. And we do have a full-length PCIe slot on this motherboard as well, which is great because you can throw a graphics card on it if you want. So that's good. So according to the AsRock website for this board, the fastest CPU you can use on this motherboard is an i7-7700K. So it's interesting. I guess this does not support the newer 1151 chips. So a little bit of a bummer there, but you know, an i7-7700K is not bad. And this machine came with the regular i7-7700 at 3.6 gigahertz, so I think that's going to work quite nicely. So another interesting feature on this motherboard can be found on the underside here. And it actually has something called an EDP port. It's a 40-pin embedded display port. And if you found the right kind of ribbon cable, you could drive a monitor directly from this board. So actually not so much a monitor, more like a laptop style display, and this potentially could power it, and all you need is that one cable. So I'm going to quickly reassemble this machine so that we can power it on and have a look at the BIOS. So I powered the machine on, and unfortunately, Houston, we have a problem. There is some like grinding noise going on, and it turns out the fan on the CPU cooler is not in a good way. It's literally grinding. You can hear the bearings just kind of grinding away. So I went and peeled the sticker off the fan, and underneath I could see that the bearings were actually rusted on this fan. I tried applying some Tri-Flow lubricant, which usually, can help a bad fan, but in this case, it did not help. These bearings are just completely gone, and it's kind of crazy. I don't know what could cause a bearing to get destroyed like that. I haven't experienced any bearings this bad before, but anyway, this cooler, thankfully I don't really care about it because I'm not really going to use it in this case, but if I ever do decide to throw a motherboard in this one unit case, I'm going to have to buy a new fan. So thankfully I was able to get into the BIOS on this machine, no problem. Here you can see the chip is an i7-7700 at 3.6 gigahertz, all good. We've got the 2 8 gigs of RAM. Obviously this BIOS is super basic. This is not a gaming machine. This is an industrial machine. No frills, no fancy GUI interface, just the basics, no overclocking or anything like that. It does have that EDP panel backlight brightness setting. That's kind of interesting. So another interesting thing, this motherboard does have the 2 serial ports on the back, and it also has support for a bunch more via connectors on the motherboard. And it turns out they're configurable to RS-232 or RS-422 or RS-485. I know there's a bunch of vintage Macintosh peripherals that use RS-422, so that's kind of interesting that you can configure it like that. So I don't know, could be useful. So thanks a lot for watching this video on this Seneca video recording appliance. I appreciate you watching, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, give me a subscription, I'd appreciate it. Hit the like button and leave me some comments. What are your thoughts on this? Did I get a decent deal or not? What are your opinions? Let me know. Thanks for watching.